Hello. What's up? Um, what's up? Hey, Poppy. Tommy Gun Machining, hello. You still didn't answer my question yesterday. Warren, hello. Mike. Peter Noddle, hello. Mark, good day. Stephen, hello. Hi, John. Welcome back. Fridge, good day. Good to see you actually in the conversation. We'll have to use that telephone at some point. Russ Knox, hello. A mixed crowd. Okay. Things you see when you haven't got your gun. 36C there today is probably about that now, but except we've got about 80% humidity, which isn't much fun. It's kind of wet. Man Cave Metals, hello, congratulations on stuff. Probably shouldn't say that, it's your news. But that's put you in the deep end. Man Cave Metals, take a look. Got some tool steel blanks that he might be wanting to offload if you're in Australia. D2 mostly, squares and drops, end pieces. I'll get back to you on what I want out of it. I'd really appreciate that, but it hasn't happened yet. But hit him up if you're looking for something. This place is a mess. It's not really. It's actually pretty neat and tidy. I've spent a couple of days, or a day this weekend tidying up after I finished putting a DRO slide on my mill. Yeah, Raymond, it's sort of about 77% here too, I reckon. Probably more down by the river. This place is reasonably neat and tidy. I've got sort of a little bit cleaned up. Lots of stuff put away. Haven't made a collet rack yet, and I think that's going to be one of the pressing things because I've got collets everywhere and stuff, and they need to be put away where the dust cover on them's nice, I think. So that'll happen at some point. I messed around yesterday. Nice 23C last time you checked, Tommy. That's nice. We're all over the show here, really. I apologise for that. I had everything tidy and I thought, I'm not going to do much for the rest of the afternoon. I might just, it'll be nice again by Wednesday. But no, it wasn't. We've got this little ruler. It's not much good. It's SPI. Don't buy one. It's all right. And Imperial, it's okay because it's exactly 6 inches long. You see that? It's fairly easy to read. It's not a bad ruler. It's very, very thin. Hasn't got a hole in the end, but it's exactly 6 inches long, which is nice. Metric size though, it's exactly 152.5 millimeters long, which is a real pain because, can you see that? Hey Ted. Don't know if you can see that or not. Try and get that to focus. Yeah, it's not happening. There is no focus. Anyway, if you use the wrong end, you always got extra 2.5 millimeters. So bit of a trap, that ruler. I use it sometimes, and you can't hang it up, so it always sits on the bench. Anyway. Hi Renzo. Now, oh gosh, we've got bits here everywhere. I'm going to have to shift this tray. Hang on. Tray's going over there. Let's push this back so you can actually see it. This crazy mix-up actually looks like... Hey JB. Hey Darren. Kevin, g'day. I sent you an email, Kevin. You probably got it. Radio silence on that one. I don't blame you, but Poppy's into technical stuff. That's excellent. I made this up, sort of. This is a project in a work in progress, and you've probably all seen this before. Darren's right on the money. G'day, Maddie. Well, I've got probably a dozen good steel rules that hang around. Just this one's a bit of a nuisance. It looks like it's probably a good thing for like a apron pocket or something, but apart from that, it's a pain. This piece of wood wasn't wide enough, so I put a bit of tape on it and glued two bits together. But this is a template that I've been putting off for a while. It sits on the bed of the lathe, and I marked the back of the spindle on the centre there. And I've got this gear that goes on the spindle with a grub screw. There's a place for that to go. It's all nice and neat. Made this one, which is an idler, and this one. Now these two here, this is just a refresher because you've all seen this. These have got flats on them to go in a slot, and they're fussy little pieces, but they're all sort of, it's got a washer and it's got a bronze bush in there and a nice hardened and polished pin. That goes on there and that one goes on there. And these go in a slot for backlash adjustment so that you can get them the right depth apart. And I'll put something back together the wrong way around because that one doesn't spin anymore. Which is a bit of a mystery. Anyway. They're not actually supposed to. Ah, there we go. We've got the pin. We've got the washer the wrong way around. I think. There we go. So I've got two of these, which are going to be the tumblers here for the reverse. This is for the thread cutting attachment on the lathe. It's a bit of a job, and I'm nervous about it because Making this fit, we've already run into this problem with the steady. Making this fit the bed at the right centre height is a bit of a challenge actually when you haven't got any real point of reference to check it on. So this one here is going to have a eccentric bush in it, in the tumbler assembly, which rotates on this pivot and swings backwards and forwards. So if you swing it this way, it locks on this one and it gives you extra reduction, so that gives you the opposite direction. And if you go this way, well, this is just an idler over here and does nothing, and you've only got the two changes of direction, so it runs the same direction as the spindle. That's the theory. Everyone's following, of course. Machine NZ, righto, I might forward that on again. I did send it. Hey, William. So, thanks for that, because I hadn't heard from you. And it was a big ask, so I wasn't going to sort of... Yeah, everyone else got one too if you live in Australia and you're a YouTube creator, but more about that soon. So I've got this. Now, this is looking at the front side of the lathe. So this goes on the rail at the front, and this one goes on the shoulder or the flat rail at the back. This is going to have a centre out here somewhere. Which has this crazy contraption, which is adjustable length, square drive, on here like this, to drive the saddle. The saddle's already been converted and there's a dog clutch and everything, and it's all adjustable and nice, and I'm pretty pleased with all this. In the middle here, there's going to be a quadrant that looks something like this. Probably not anything like this, actually. I don't know about the triangle thing. It's probably just going to have one slot in it, or maybe two parallel slots. I'm not sure whether we need two, though. I think probably only need one. And that'll be adjustable this way. And then we've got these assemblies here, which there's a lot of bits in actually. They've got a piece there that goes in the slot and locks in, and then this has got a bronze bush with a keyway stuck in it, which goes on there, and that gives us space for 2 gears or spacers or whatever else. There probably should be a spacer in between there. I did make spacers for it. So I made like long spacers so we can put the long spacer on there with the keyway, and just have a single idler. Or we have a short spacer, which just is a packer. It goes on there, and then we can put another key on. That's how it's supposed to go. And then this fancy nut goes on this side. And we've got, or we should have, oh, there we go. We've got a gear that spins on there on the slot. So I didn't cut these gears, I cut some of these gears. This is a set of gears from just a mini lathe. Why reinvent the wheel? They're steel gears for Sieg mini lathe, I think. They're not bad gears. And they're all finished and nice. Some of these are cut, like these tumbler gears. But that's the theory. So we've got an idler or something here, and I don't know much about how this quadrant's all going to work. And then we'll have the other gear goes on here. And hopefully we should have the right transmission forward and reverse to this shaft to give us the right speed for screw cutting. This is the theory. Is everybody following, as Mr. Pete says? This is a work in progress, and it's taken a bit to work out actually how everything works together. But getting all these pieces so they all fit nicely together, and then I wanted these nuts to be the same size as the Lorch spanner. Which was kicking around here. Here it is. This one says LS & Co. Lorch Schmidt & Co. That's a Lorch 102, a Lorch 2A genuine spanner. And this fits here. So that's the idea. And this fits everything on my lathe. Hey Dennis. Good to see you. So that's what we're working on. Off and on. As the mood sort of treats us. These three here need to go on a plate. With a big hole and an eccentric bush that actually gives this gear a little bit of movement against this one, so you can adjust the backlash. And then this one's on a slide, so you can slide it backwards and forwards. And you should be able to slide them both backwards and forwards, so we can make a change handle line up on a couple of holes. That's the theory. Thanks, Rust Knox. I hope so. I'm really not all that confident about that. There is a lot of gears here, and there's a lot more besides. But that's how we are. This one fits the machine. We've got to make a plate for this that pivots on this end for the tumbler, and then this has got to spin as well inside the tumbler as an idler. And then that's got to have another gear on top of it. Whether it's, there's got to be space for another gear to give you transmission to this one, which is probably going to be, probably it's going to be another 40 teeth gear, or we can put a smaller one on there probably. So all this has got to be spaced out sort of the same, so that this all works this way. And then we've got to cut this piece out here out of aluminium or something that really wants to be cut. Johnny Mosquito. It wants to be cut out of probably 30mm, 1.25" aluminium or something, or steel, or I don't know, with all this shape in it. And this one could do with, it really only needs to be about that high, because this is not part of this. This actually just runs on the spindle. So it needs to be, probably only needs to be this high, and then this piece can sit over the top of it with these nuts in behind, maybe. And this has got to be spaced out to fit that, but these are back in here on the plate. And then in here, that's got to fit this end here with some sort of, probably a quick release. And then it needs a spindle to match these, so that these 12mm with a 2mm keyway or 3mm keyway or whatever they are will go on and off, so you can change them out too with a nut the same as this to go on the outside. So Anyway, that's what I'm getting my head around. It's one of the things I'm getting my head around this week. I think probably, Tommy, you're right. Mike, proper meshing I think we've got under control, because this one's going to be on an eccentric, so it meshes with this one, and these two are going to be on in a slot, so we get those to mesh. And if it doesn't quite mesh right, we can move this one up so it goes a bit further, or back so it goes a little bit less, and adjust this one to match. That's the theory. They should be all adjustable on the machine, so that when you click the tumbler over, it should mesh. But that's where we're at. This one here and this one here don't need any serious relationship between them, and that's why this is adjustable and why these are on slots. So if you want one gear and an idler there, theoretically we should be able to do that and get them to fit nicely, and then mesh with this one too. And if we've got two side by side, we should be able to run them like that if we need to. That's kind of good. That's a good idea, Fridge. Yeah. So anyway, this comes out every time I think about another project that I need it for, and I do a little bit more on it. But finding an actual genuine one, and if you've got 10, 15 minutes there, I put a link in the description to one that a Swiss or a German guy's made, and he makes them for sale for a Chauvelin 70. So it's a bit smaller than this, but it gives you some idea where we're going with this and how everything works. The tumbler reverse is probably overkill, to be honest. There's space in there to do it, so, and I've got the gears, so I've done it. This needs some sort of a lock on here, so it's got to either have a screw in here, and then from the back side probably, or this might actually go on the, yeah, we're sort of all back to front here, but probably from the front side of the lathe, and this sits on the back, we're probably going to put a slot in this piece here, and then a grub screw or a lock screw or something like that. Unless someone's got a better idea, a nice collet on there to lock it would be nice, something like that. I don't know. We don't want it to look ugly. Anyway, that's the update on that. I haven't actually made anything, but that's where we're at with it. We've got spaces, we've got all the bits, or a lot of the bits. This here's got a dog clutch that meshes on the lathe, on the saddle, and it's got a spring detent, so that this pin that goes through here has got two grooves in it, and you can lock it on and off. And all this should have is an adjustable screw here, so that when you're feeding up against something, this pops this out and pops the dog clutch out for power feed stop. That's kind of the theory there. This is a bit of stainless steel, and these are, I think, these are just universals off eBay somewhere. I hope they stand up okay. So whether I'm going to have more than just a screw and probably a micrometer stop off the side of the saddle or something like that, so that I can adjust this to give us an inch of travel or whatever, or 25 mil or whatever, I don't know. But That's probably over-engineered. But now the mill's up and running, I can make a little bit more progress on this. And probably we only need to make this piece to mesh on to fit the saddle, and it's got to have a bush on here or some sort of locking system as well. We've got to work that out before we cut it out. And then it's going to fit down here nicely, and it's probably going to be sort of across here somewhere and down here, and that's sort of the shape of it. And then it's got a bolt in the bottom because the lathe's got a little T-slot in the end. So we can use a T-nut and a bolt down through the middle, hopefully, which is why this is offset a little bit. I think probably we're going to put a lift dog and then a cam in here this way. I don't know, that's how everything else works on the lathe. And maybe an over-center lever, but I don't know whether it's ever going to come off once it goes on the machine anyway. So all things to think about. And while it looks relatively simple to finish, there's a lot of work in it. Thanks, Raymond, but I think I'm just going to make one out of aluminium or breadboard or something, like something like that, and make it work, and then make one out of steel or aluminium even. So that's where we're at. What else? The main thing on this quadrant, which is not going to look anything like this, I don't think, is that it doesn't touch on the bed, and it doesn't bang on the bed here, and it's long enough to fit the gear that I want to fit in there. So that's where we're at. So pretty exciting, probably. Now I'm going to go handheld, and we're going to have a look over here. I've got no battery, so I want to know why that's not charging. That's one of life's strange and ineffectual measurement sort of mysteries. But anyway, let's go over here. We need more space of the flat variety, but anyway, here we are. This is a job that I've done this weekend too, right? Yeah, we're sort of handheld here. It's shake camera engaged, etc, etc, etc. I've got jolly signboard here everywhere. Projects. I've been tossing up how to put a DRO on this mill, because I didn't want to lose the full thickness of the DRO on the back of the table. It's spot on, Rust Knox. That's right. And I didn't want to lose this T-slot on the front because I've got plans for that. Very useful to have it. And I don't want to lose, especially with this rapid reverse, I don't want to lose the two saddle stops on here either, which I'm sort of in the process of making new ones for there and for under here, because this piece here, when I pull it apart, is actually missing from here. So we're going to make new saddle stops for here, or table stops for here as well, this way, probably. But we're probably going to hang this one down low enough to hang the, or sit the to connect the Z-axis DRO back in here. This is the Z-axis because it's a horizontal mill, and the mill axis sticks out there like that. So I'm probably going to bolt or make a block of aluminium a decent. Yeah, well, that was an option too, but they're a bit hard to get, and anyway, we fixed it. I'm going to make an block aluminium in here, and I'm going to sit, I think, probably we're going to sit the new slide in here and go through there and connect it off here somehow for this axis here. But that's the next one. So what I've done, if I die, I've run out of battery. I don't know why it's not charging. So I've bolted this piece of 10 or 12 by 40 aluminium on the back here with two decent big socket head cap screws and a bit of 10 by 20 on the bottom there. And under this cover, wonder where I've tightened this up anyway, but this is all nicely finished. I'm pretty pleased with this. This is the cover for it, and if we have a look under there, the glass scales under there, and that's quite a nice little finish. I'm pretty happy with that. And it works. So I've been asked several times why I didn't put on the front. Okay, and why I didn't put underneath. Why didn't I have a set of levers and put it over there on the wall, etc, etc, etc. That's not really, none of those things seem to want to work. So this is nice and neat and tidy. This is down below the surface of the table, so if I do need to hang something out the end, that's not going to be an issue. And I think that's going to work, and I think it's okay. Ted Roses gave me that idea, so big thanks, Ted, if you remember. Anyway, I might do a video about this, but that one's on, and then there's the other ones there as well. So far we've got 2 axes, which is really good. Magnetic scales would have been good, Mike, but just didn't happen. Now we're coming back here because our battery is nearly flat. Hang on. And plug back in. I don't know why that's not charging. That's better. Now, so there are 2 projects. I've got these made up on a completely different tangent. This is my DRO book, and this isn't a bad book actually. It's quite well written. I hope everyone got a book this good with theirs, because it's pretty good. It's actually got punctuation and stuff in it. Anyway, we've got a dog next door. You can just discover that I'm here. I'm going to shut that window. There we go. Anyway, got these made up. Really bit pleased with these. These are excellent. And you've probably seen these in a couple of videos. This is the projects to get the lathe up to where I want it to be. Just so you know, they're all individual projects. There's thread cutting attachment. That's this one. But that's crazy. Don't ever do that. If you ever get the urge to write down this list, don't. And there's the ones for the mill, which isn't a very big list yet, but I'm only just getting started. Anyway, these are 5mm squares and A4, and they're bound so that you can turn them inside out. And they've got a nice cover with a plastic cover so that the oil and stuff you can wipe off. And they've got like charts on the back. This one's seen a bit of use actually. Basic charts and things on the back. They're not particularly exciting or interesting, but that's just how they turned out. I don't know what I'm going to do with these, but I reckon they're pretty good. A pretty good thing, because this is the plastic covers on here. That's why that's not lining up properly. There we go. So the plastic cover goes on top. And I've got them in a couple of colours, and it says Project Notebook, be kind to each other. Pretty fun. Now, I've sent some of these out for Christmas presents, and if you get one of these in the next week in the mail, you know what that's about. Use it, have fun with it. That's good. I've got a few extras, so I don't know whether I'm probably going to move them or give them away or what yet, but that's coming on. Anyway, that's something I've been looking at for a while because I got totally sick of not having a decent sized spiral graph notepad that stayed open on the bench and closed up after use, and you could always find, and didn't really matter if the roof drips on it or the oil can falls over on it, stuff like that. So that's pretty good fun. That's a project, and I've got a few of them, and if you get one of them in the mail and you're a creator of stuff on YouTube, give us a shout out, but not saying where I've sent them. There's another thing, the elephant in the room, I guess. Aussie Maker Meetup 2020. There we are, we've named the animal. Bruce and I have been in sort of talking about this, and we've decided that we might as well make a decent event of it. So we're going to get 3 or 4 of us together. If someone's interested in putting their hand up to help, would really appreciate that. Trying to find some project management software, and I'm really pulling up blank on that. Don't know what to do about that. Might have to actually get in and buy some. I've got some, but it's going to get expensive quick. Office 365 Planner, that might work. Got to have Office. Google Docs might work too, so that everyone can access it. The trouble is we're all over the country, and we need some sort of a spreadsheet or probably a database of some sort, so that we've got everything on board and everything works, because this event could end up fairly big, so hold on to your hats. Anyway, we'll get some stuff sorted out, and in a month or so we'll make a bit more of an official announcement and decide what we're going to have and what we're going to do, and get to 2 months or whatever it's going to take to get to that point. And from then on, you can all start planning. But at this point, it's the first weekend in October, and it'll be 4 or 5 days in Melbourne, and there'll be plenty to do. You can do what you like, and there'll be a few tours and things like that. And there's a model engineering or a maker expo, a big maker exhibition. Anyone who's coming might like to bring something along and put on the table. If you've made something that's pretty cool, there's that too. We might have a table at the exhibition, and then We might try and organise a barbecue or a venue, or Bruce is keen to do seminars. I don't know how many people are interested in that. We've got to thresh out all those details. So that's where we're at with that. And for some reason, I have a low battery again. That's charging. And pull that one out, which is actually the subscription counter. So we turned that off for a second. Anyway, that's happening too. I'm not sure about a brewer tour, but there's lots of things. I know that I've got a couple of tours lined up already that are going to be pretty cool. And there will be opportunity to spend some money on secondhand tools. So bring a suit. That's taken up a bit of my time at the moment. What else? I don't know, it's pretty warm. I hope so, Tommy. I hope so. I hope everything works out and everything works. But it won't take a lot to go wrong to mess it up either. And it's a fair bit of work to organise it. And anyone who wants to put their hand up, one of you young guys from Tasmania, not mentioning anyone, but if you wanted to take a bit of a role in organising stuff, I'd really appreciate it. But no pressure. And people who are there are people who are experts at this, and there's another creator who puts videos up occasionally in sort of Sydney, who I'm trying to pluck up the courage to ask him about it too, but he's probably overcommitted. Anyway, if he's listening, he'll know. Significant birthday. Wow, weekend in Melbourne sounds like a way to celebrate that. I think I'm back. Anyway, sorry about that. This stupid thing is not charging properly, so I'm going to say we're going to call this a night. Big thanks to everyone for watching. Thanks to my new subscribers, 5770 or something on the stupid counter. Not that anyone's counting. Huge thanks to everyone who's jumped up as part of the community and who comes and hangs here on Wednesday night. I really appreciate that.